Shout out to J&J.
So I just want to send a shout out to J&J Sports for having me once again.
Episodes, man. You guys got a real good thing going on.
Man, I know you're a big baseball fan. We gotta talk about the Astros, man. So, they re-announced, that the door is still slightly open for Alex Bregman to come back. Have you been keeping up with Alex, man? And how do you feel about the deal that, the Astros presented to him?
Yeah, I mean, I think the contract is fair. 5 years, $156 million. Like, it's a fair contract. If it wasn't a fair contract, he'd be on another team by now. Last weekend, obviously, like it was crazy. Because it was like they're going to trade Ryan Presley to the Cubs, waiting for him to trade his no trade clause. And like the initial reporting was like kind of made it seem like they were like very connected, where it's like if Presley is traded, Bregman's back, and obviously Bregman's not back yet. I feel like now at this point, like I don't think Alex Bregman's going to be back. I still feel like he's going to end up with another team. The trickle down effect is still fascinating because it feels like Altuve is going to play left field no matter what. It feels like this year, like they're gonna experiment with that, put him in left. But yeah, the Bregman stuff's been it's just been so interesting to see. Like it was so the door was so closed. Like there was no chance he was going to be on this team, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, it's like nope, they're going to try to bring him back, and I think it's not impossible. Like it's still there's still a chance for it, but it just feels like the Astros are very set with the contract that they've offered, and I don't really think that they're going to go much beyond what they've already put on the table for him. So it for me it feels like if Alex wants to be back, like he's just got to take the contract that's on the table. I just feel like it's kind of up to him at this point. Maybe he can get a little bit more money from the Astros, but he ain't getting much more. Because there's all like the collective bargaining taxes and all that stuff that's like even like above my head, like how much money they would owe other teams if they spent too much money. But so like, they're going to be over that if they bring back Bregman. They're barely under it as it is. So it's I think it's a low chance, but it's still not impossible.
That's true. And if we kind of look into it, so he said that he wants to average that keep that 28 million a year salary going. He wants 200 million. Now, I'm gonna start with you, James. Do you feel like Alex Bregman is worth 200 million?
I think that he would be worth that money. And I think having him on the team is definitely a lot more helpful than watching him go somewhere else. Because, I mean, he's really loved in this city, and you see Bregman jerseys everywhere. So I think it would be in their best interest to retain him.
Definitely. And Joe, for you, like say the Cubs offer him 200, would it be better because you still want to get to the World Cup and you still want to get there, not just the money. Would it make sense for him to stay with the Astros for the 150? Fairly probably a better team, or go with the Cubs and take the 200.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Alex, I'd probably stay with the Astros. Just the familiarity with it, like like you can take advantage of the Crawford boxes, which like you don't have at Wrigley Field. Um, I would probably stay. Man, I hate to like tell someone to take less money. So like I think the Astros have to get a little bit closer. Like if a team's offering him $200 million, like I think they'd have to get to like 175 to get him to stay. Which is a little bit closer, like to that 28 million versus closer to 30, which I know is like what he really wants. Like he wants $30 million. He said that publicly in the past, like a year or two ago, like he wants to be a $30 million a year baseball player. So if he wants I think it's really going to come down to if he wants a 5 year deal or a 6 year deal, I think he's going to have to go to Houston or Detroit. That's because I know there's one other team that's offered him a more than a 5 year deal. I think it's Detroit. I'm not totally sure, but I'm pretty sure it's Detroit. If he's wanting to take more money, but for less years and take like a 3 year, $90 million deal, I think that's either the Cubs or the Red Sox. So I think it's like there's four teams that are really in on him. So I think for Alex, it just depends on like what you want security wise. Like, do you want do you want less years but more dollars, or do you want that 5 6 year deal to where like you're playing in one city for the next couple of years? Because if he goes to the Cubs and signs a 3 year deal, like there's probably going to be some opt outs in there, like they did last year with Cody Bellinger, to where he could leave after a season. Um, And then when he wouldn't leave and they didn't want him anymore, they traded him to the Yankees. So, like, if he wants loyalty and stability, I think his best bet and probably his best chance to win is probably still in Houston, honestly.
Yeah. I agree too. Like I said, it's been so much success with him on that team. So I would stay with him, stay with the Astros. That's what I think. You?
Yeah, I would definitely stay here. He's already has that familiarity with the team. He's here. There's more reason to stay too, considering that the Astros are a loaded team and they're going to be able to win some games in the playoffs.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think like you have like a player like Jose Altuve who's willing to play a position, willing to move to left field so that Isak Paredes can move to second base and Bregman can play third. Like it just shows you how much like also like his teammates care about him and like want him to be here. Like that's not gonna happen everywhere else. I mean, like if he goes to Chicago and like, they've got a young prospect who could be a third baseman. If they want him to play third, well then like Alex is the one that's gonna have to move positions. It's not. It's he'll have to move to second base or just be a DH or potentially probably just move to second. But like other teams will not treat him in the way that the Astros are willing to treat him right now.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. And before we get off the baseball, man, I don't know, you watch Shohei Ohtani,
Hmm.
Dodgers. How do you feel about his agent stealing money and come to find out that this was his first incident. Like he didn't have a history of this. What were your thoughts when you heard about it?
I mean, the story's crazy because like when you're hearing that like his bank account is sending money to people, there's no reason to believe that Shohei Ohtani's not like highly involved
Yeah.
in this. But then within the last like what 2 weeks, we finally got like one of the recordings where the his interpreter was calling the bank pretending to be Shohei Ohtani and they were just like moving money and doing things without like having him be in person, which is crazy to me. But he had all of his codes. Like the biggest thing for Shohei is like he showed a lack of good judgment in character of the people around him. Like he put too much faith in one guy to have all of his access. Like he was obviously more than just like an interpreter. Like he was like his best friend, and his best friend screwed him over. That story was crazy. Like because it just didn't feel like it was going to end the way that it did, which is that he's totally innocent. And I'm a cynical person at times. Like I'm not still totally convinced that Shohei was unaware. Like it just seems illogical to me that like someone can be just draining your bank account all the time and you have no idea what's going on. Like I know you got a lot of money in there, but like millions of dollars leaving it at like chunks of time feels like a red flag that you should be aware of, or
Yeah.
someone else on your team. Unless he really didn't have like he didn't have like if he didn't have like an accountant or anything, like you think someone of that stature would, but so it's still hard to kind of wrap my mind around the fact that like he's totally innocent,
Yeah.
but they're portraying it that way. So we just got to kind of run with it. I mean, this guy pled guilty, the interpreter, to everything. Said he's totally involved. So I still wonder like if he's a little bit of a fall guy, but it's a crazy story the way
Yeah.
it started and ended.
Yeah, for real. And we covered that a while back, and just finding out that that was his first incident, I already knew that was kind of personal. That felt really personal between them two. So I didn't really know their relationship. I had to really look into it, but it makes sense though. If
It
you're going to end it out,
it's good that they found out early too. Like, could y'all imagine if years and years go by and maybe the translator skips town or something with the money that they took? And
right?
so he's lucky that they figured it out early, I think.
Yeah, I mean, think it's happened. I mean, was it Tim Duncan like lost like all of his money because someone that he worked with, I think it was like his accountant basically just like drained his accounts and like took all of his money and invested it poorly and just stole it from him. And then Tim Duncan was just like left with nothing basically.
Yeah,
And like I think that was still while he was playing, so we still had time to make a lot of it back. But yeah, if they didn't find out when they did, like Shohei, like I mean, he just signed a $500 million contract. Like who knows what this guy would have done with that
yeah,
money?
yeah. Probably had everything set up on the side. So, but yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on that. Yeah, like I said, Joe, man, we appreciate you for joining, man, our podcast. Anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, man, just check us out, ESPN 97.5. If you can't, if you don't, if you're not a radio listener, which like I know not everybody is, like We stream live every day on YouTube, just ESPN Houston on YouTube. So start early in the morning, 7 a.m. until we're done at 6 o'clock. But my show's from 12 to 3. So come check us out. We're doing all things, Astros, Rockets, Texans, and then personally too. I have a podcast called the Chicago Style Podcast with my buddy Adam Sager. Talking a lot of Bears football right now. So just started that. So it's still like a newish YouTube channel. So if you guys want to go on over there, hit that subscribe button. We'd appreciate you guys. But yeah, thanks you guys for having me on. Appreciate it a ton.
Thank you, man, and brought the shirt, man. Just to
Nice.
show you
Nice.
it's real, man. Appreciate you, man, for letting me intern there, and big shout out to everything. All your links will be in the description. So, but
Cool.
subscribe, man. Y'all shout us out, man, on J&J Sports. We'd love to be guests too. If you
For
ever have
sure. For sure.
to be guests for sure. But yeah, as always, I'm Jamar McKeel,
I'm James Jerwin.
and y'all just got served with J&J Sports episode 93, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got time.
So I was taking a look at some of the top Chiefs to watch in the Super Bowl, and I looked at offense and defense. And obviously, number one, I had to go with Patrick Mahomes, 581 completions and 26 touchdowns to 11 interceptions.
Yeah.
And I guess my first question to y'all is, are y'all excited or bored by the return of the Chiefs? And what would have your dream Super Bowl been?
Dream Super Bowl. I think I would have gone Commanders Chiefs. I love the Jaden Daniels story, even though I'm a Bears fan. It makes me sad a little bit. But like the Commanders Chiefs would have been cool. I wouldn't say I'm bored of the Chiefs. I'm just kind of neutral. Like I'm not excited that they're back for a third Super Bowl. I'm not, over it. It's more just like, well, this is the thing. And now it's just like I want to see someone. I want to see someone beat him. Like I don't want to see a three-peat champion. So yeah, I would say I'm not bored of it. Not yet, at least.
Yeah. For me, I thought it was gonna be Ravens, Lions. It was a couple picks that I thought, but of course the Lions, they choked again. But just somebody other than the Chiefs, really, just to show that hey, this is not just a rerun or we're not doing this because like the last Super Bowl, the most viewed Super Bowl with Taylor Swift. I mean, we already knew what that was. We already knew that was gonna be that because of that reason. So I don't want it to be that's the main reason why the Super Bowl is the Chiefs, and you know what I mean. So yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, up next, I've got Travis Kelce and 97 completions, 823 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And, he's a 2013 draft pick. How much longer do y'all see him playing?
That's
I think there's a chance he retires after they win the Super Bowl. Maybe like 2 more years at most. But there's been some like I listened to a podcast and they were speculating like if they think Travis Kelce might just like hang it up. Like he's on that a TV show now. That looks terrible to be honest. But like I think we're very close to the end, and it really would not shock me if like this was the last dance for Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I mean, because we seen what his brother did when they played in that Super Bowl Eagles. He basically, declared it right after. So I could see it happening too. You know.
The TV show is a little rough to watch, but he's actually one of the highlights. I was surprised
Nice.
by acting skills. He's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And then my third and final offender to watch in this one is definitely Xavier Worthy, as you had mentioned. Like going throughout the playoffs, he was kind of Mahomes' number one option. You didn't see a whole lot of like balls thrown to other people. It was kind of mainly Worthy. So you were saying he was probably also going to have a big outcome with the Super Bowl. Is he going to be the go-to in this game with his speed?
I feel like he will be. Like I think they're just going to try to find a way to get him the ball as much as possible. Um, Especially because like you're not going to be able to just throw it to Travis Kelce in this game. So like I feel like he's just so fast. Like you can do so many things like in the backfield with him, short stuff, deep stuff. Like I think they're going to try to like really use him as a big piece of this. And the other one too, like I still think there's something left in Hopkins. Like I wonder like if DeAndre's got like one big game, like throwback game left in him too, where like it feels like there's still something there. And like if there's ever time to find it, like this is obviously the time to do it. So yeah, I think Xavier Worthy is gonna be a huge part of this game, but Hopkins is the one that I'm kind of also keeping my eye on for like what he could do for sure.
Yep, definitely. And then Pacheco for me, like I said, we still got to watch out for him because he's pretty fast once he gets going too. So we'll definitely get him going too.
Yeah, and then taking a look at defense, my number one here is Chris Jones for sure. And he had 5 sacks throughout the season. And this kind of has me wondering, is it difficult to find like elite level defensive tackles?
It feels like it. Like I mean, like what was like Aaron Donald, him, and now it's just him. Like I don't even know like who the next guy like elite would be. Like there's a lot of good ones, but like the elite of elite, like he's at the top. Like he is such a game wrecker. And if they're gonna win, like he's gonna be a huge part of that because whether it's the tush push, which I'm over, to be honest, like I kind of hate that play. It's not like a real football play, in my opinion. Um, which is like stopping Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts running the ball. Like, he's gonna have to be huge in this game, I think, just to help them win. So he's a monster, and it shows. Like it is. I think it might be like it feels like there's so few of them that like it might be one of the hardest got like positions to find like elite talent at, honestly, in the NFL.
Absolutely.
So they brought back Kareem Hunt. Do y'all see them possibly bringing back Tyreek Hill after this season?
I
Uh,
think so.
yeah, I can see that, especially after he kind of wants out, but we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on it, but if he really wants out of Miami, like I think there's I don't know how the Dolphins would like trade him back to the Chiefs. Like you're just like giving the best team in the NFL another elite weapon.
Yeah.
So maybe he has to maybe it takes a year to get back to Kansas City. He has to go somewhere else first before he gets moved. But it definitely feels like it's on the table. I mean, like during the season, he was like tweeting Chief stuff and like putting Chief stuff on his Instagram. So it's like very clear like he misses it and misses Mahomes and sometimes you got to chase the bag sometimes, but you don't know what you leave behind. I think is a lesson for him in this one for sure.
Yeah, definitely a lesson.
I agree. So y'all, please let us know in the comments what you think, and if y'all are looking forward to the Super Bowl and what your dream matchup would be.
Absolutely. Thank you. But yeah, man, Joe, appreciate you, man.
Thank
All the
Appreciate you.